Well, I've always been interested in history, and I think it's there's a lot of great material there for game making. I think the idea behind the original Civ was to kind of turn the player loose in an interesting world, and the fact that you kind of knew you ran into familiar things like Napoleon or Gandhi or inventing gunpowder, things like that. I think kind of empowered the player to really feel at home in that world and feel smart about themselves.
It's always been really interesting. We've had teachers that always communicate with us regularly on how their students approach Civ in the classroom, and it's not just even those little tidbits of history and that interest that it gins up. It actually gives a player I guess a high level view of what it takes to like run your empire, and of course it's all called down into something that's really fun and an awesome game, but they're learning about the balance of keeping your citizens happy while you're waging war, and there's war weariness hitting at home, but you've got to still run your government, and the people have got to be happy with that, and all these things that you have to balance to really make everything tick. And I think the other allure, especially with students, is it starts out in a place that they're always very familiar with. You know, you're starting with your leader, and you're going to be playing, for example, Cleopatra, Egypt, and they know what the history of that is. But it's how civilization completely takes you off the rails because people play it out completely different from what actual human history takes you through, which makes it really, really compelling.
It makes you appreciate the kind of turning points in history, how easily something could have gone in a very different direction. When I play, I'm kind of imagining other people running into the same situation and kind of trying to visualize their response. And I mean, I remember playing a game and it suddenly struck me that this was just exactly like a historical situation that I had read about, and here it was happening in the game. Maybe Napoleon invading Russia or something. It was like, this is, this really happened, and here, the sandbox that we created has led to this exact same thing, and that was, as a designer, that's a kind of a aha moment.
Each game is going to give you different situations that you have to react to, different terrain you need to play, different opponents that you have to play against that all have different agendas. And I think that's the genius of where Civilization 1 started, because at its root, it's this game of choices that never plays the same way. You've got a lot of traditional games out now which are very fun. You play through it one time and you're kind of done. But Civilization gives you something different every single time you play, and you have to figure out a million different ways to get through that game.
I think games put you in a safe space where you can experiment and try different things, and if you lose, there are no consequences. You're spending your own time. You're playing a game on your computer and you're trying out different strategies. It really allows you to try things that you might think might not work, but I've got this space, I've got this time, I've got this opportunity, I've got this cool sandbox where I can try out all these different things. So I think one of the lessons is you can certainly learn as much from failure as from success. We had an event in the last year called Firaxicon, where some of our more rabid fans came and got to talk to designers and look at what we're working on, and et cetera. And I was surprised, I was really gratified how many were parents and children. Like a parent is introducing Civ to their son or daughter. And for the first time, I mean, Civ has now been out there long enough that we're seeing kind of multiple generations playing the game together. And that's a very special thing, and the fact that we've been around this long that has allowed us to do that. That's special. So I think there are not many games that you can kind of see that, and sharing strategies, sharing ideas. A parent kind of introducing Civ to their child. That kind of warms my heart to hear about that.